Hi Abel, you okay?
Interview right here. Hello?
Are you alright?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, man, I can hear you.
Brilliant. Just to let you know, you're on with myself, Ray, with my co-host Patrick on the MMA Mental podcast.
Hey, great to have you, Abel.
Yeah, man, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Right, well let's just jump straight in then. Let's talk about probably one of the most talked about UFC debuts in a long time. How did it feel to finally get into the UFC and to make such an impressive start?
Man, it felt good. You know, I've been waiting to get in the UFC for a long time, so, you know, it was all those years of preparation was for that one night, man. It felt real good, you know.
I mean, it's fair to say that your opponent was obviously a very, very high-level wrestler, and we were told that he was a high-level wrestler. How did you make it look so easy to defend those takedowns?
Man, well, I got really good balance, so, you know, a lot of that was it wasn't real technical, it was just, I had really good balance, and I just been blessed with good hips, so I just used it to my advantage, you know.
It was one hell of a performance, and also, obviously, you know, you won by TKO due to the striking. Your striking style was so aggressive and so exciting. Is that what you like your game to be, your aggressive striking?
Yeah, man, I try to, you know, set the tone, be the aggressor, be the alpha male all the time, you know. I want everybody to know that, you know, this guy is the guy coming forward and they're the guy that's going backwards.
Well, it certainly worked. Let's go a little bit into your history. You started fighting professionally in 2009. What made you want to get into mixed martial arts?
Man, I always wanted to get in the UFC. That's like my childhood dream. I've been watching it forever, and I was always intrigued by it. And I got a wrestling scholarship to Iowa, and my assistant wrestling coach, he was a big fan of the UFC, and MMA is real big in Iowa. So, you know, he kept pursuing me and like pretty much begging me to do an amateur fight. So finally, in between wrestling seasons, I did an amateur fight, man. I fell in love with it since.
So obviously, when you took the amateur fight, then did you stop doing the wrestling, or did you still wrestle?
Yeah, I was still wrestling in 2006. I was still wrestling all the way up to 2009, and my second amateur fight, I broke my hand, and so I was out for like 3 months, and I didn't train or anything. And for like a couple of years, I was kind of discouraged, you know, but I finally got back and started taking it serious, you know.
I mean, obviously you fought a lot on the smaller shows and worked your way up to the UFC. Have you got any standout moments pre-UFC? Anything that was some of your favourite finishes or favourite fights?
Oh man, yeah. Pretty much my last 3 fights my last 4 fights have meant a lot to me because I've been with the Black Zillions, and I've been, you know, learning so much from the coaches and the guys here that I finally feel like I'm a fighter, you know, like a full package fighter instead of just going there with my wrestling and my brawling, you know.
What's it like working with the Black Zillions and obviously some really, really, you know, big names in the sport?
Man, it's an honor, man. I'm blessed because, you know, every day I get to go with guys that's, you know, world champion in Muay Thai, world champion in Jiu-Jitsu. And it only makes me better. And my coaches, man, you know, they're world class. You know, my striking coach, my conditioning coach. So, man, I'm in a good position right now, and I'm just grateful, you know.
How did the call come about? Were the UFC watching you? Because obviously you'd been on a good run and you're training with some of the bigger names. And what happened? How did they contact you? And how surprised or pleased were you to get the call up to the UFC?
Man, it kind of happened just like during the afternoon. My manager was like, he texted me, was like, hey, send me some pictures. You know, send me some pictures of you. So I sent him like, you know, probably a dozen pictures of me. And then later on that night, they played a prank on me. It was like, hey, you need to come to the office, you know. And so I came to the office, and they was like pretty much kicking me off the team, you know. And they kind of reversed it around and told me I was in the UFC. So that's how I found out.
So you went from being absolutely gutted to relieved to ecstatic.
Exactly.
Well, we sent out a couple of tweets asking if anyone had any questions, and we had a few fans come back with a couple of questions. So I'm just going to read out some fan questions for you. So question number one was from one of our followers. He says, since you look so impressive in your opener, do you feel added pressure in your next fight to live up to the new hype?
Nah, man, I don't feel any pressure. I feel like every fight is my debut. So even though I put on a good performance my last fight, I feel like coming into this next fight, it's still my debut and my first fight. So I still have to be impressive every fight.
And question number two was, how has life changed since UFC on Fox 5?
Oh man, life hasn't changed for me. It's still the same, exact same. I got a little bit more money, but that's about it.
Are you getting noticed more, or hasn't that started kicking in yet?
Well, back in Iowa, I went home for Christmas to see my daughter, and it's a small town, so just going to like the store, a lot of people noticed me and was, like asking for autographs. So, that was pretty cool. But besides that, everything's the same.
Well, I know Patrick's eager to jump in. Are you good to go, Patrick?
Yeah, I sure am. Thanks again for your time, Abel. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, no problem. Anytime.
All right, so going back to your UFC debut, that was just such a spectacular fight. It was one of the best debuts the UFC's ever seen. You stopped all the takedowns, and you absolutely brutalized Marcus Leveser everywhere that fight went. Do you think that could have gone any better for your debut?
Nah, I don't, unless I could have finished in the first round. But besides that, man, I just try to and I'm doing my job, and I'm trying to hurt my opponent, in the most severe pain as possible, and I'm doing my job. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you certainly did your job that night. It definitely looked like he was in some severe pain. And that fight was on a huge card too. It was the free title fight on Fox, stacked event from top to bottom. Did that kind of just put the cherry on top of your performance that night?
Yeah, it did. In our fighters meeting, Dana White came in, and he was like, "Man, this is the card of the year." And then it just hit me like, dang, I'm a part of my debut was part of the fight, the card of the year. So it was like I couldn't have been in a better situation possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely one of the top fights from probably the best card of the year, easily. Now, you and Ray talked about it. You've been with Black Zillions for a while now. How has that camp changed as it's grown? Is it just getting bigger and stronger?
Yeah, man, it's getting bigger and stronger. We're getting a lot more people that's wanting to train with us, but, we got a big facility, but we're getting more team members, so it's like only the elite of the elite really come. So it's like you got the best people here, so it's everybody's here is a high level. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Lots of huge top names in the Black Zillions camp. Now, when you started your MMA career, you started out 5-4 as a pro. You're now on a 5-fight win streak. You're sitting at 10-4. Is the Black Zillions camp one of the keys to the improvement? A mental outlook? What's the difference been?
Yeah, it had that. Have a big contribution to that because before, I was training myself, and I wasn't getting the proper training. I didn't have, a coach in every aspect of mixed martial arts, and when it came to my conditioning, that was always my weak point. I would fight out of anger and aggression, and I would gas myself out. And so for my UFC debut, I made sure I did everything right. I hired a conditioning coach, and we did conditioning 3 times a week, and it was just the best shape I've been in my life, and it gave me a lot more confidence and helped my mental game out.
Yeah, I can certainly imagine that would help. It definitely showed in the fight. Now, you were scheduled to fight Tim Means for your debut. We all know about the incident he had cutting weight. Is that a fight you would still be interested in if they were to make that? Because it's already been set up and scratched twice. Would you still want to make that fight happen?
Honestly, I don't really care. It's not something that's like, I really want to fight him, or it's not like, I don't want to fight him. It's just, I want to fight whoever the UFC puts in front of me, and I would like for them to put the best in front of me, so that would be the sooner I get a title shot,
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is there any fighter in particular that you would like to face next?
No, just no particular fighter. I just, Marcus Sylvester, he was real tough, and I just want somebody that's, of course, ahead of him, and, I would like a top 10 guy, but.
Yeah, definitely.
I would like a top 10 guy, but I'm not sure if they'll give that to me right away, so I'll probably work my way up, maybe a top 20 or something.
Definitely. So, is there a timetable for your return to action? Have you been in talks with the UFC?
No, not yet. My manager's thinking maybe in March, but he doesn't know for sure. But he just told me that's what time to be ready. But I'm already training hard. I'll be fight ready in a few weeks. So I'm just waiting.
Definitely. So, change of weight classes, that definitely seems to be the hot topic these days. And you look like a very huge 155. Definitely looked like in really good shape for your debut. Do you ever see yourself moving up in weight or moving down in weight?
No, I usually walk around like 175, but for some reason now I'm only walking around at 170. So I definitely wouldn't move up because I'm too small, and I definitely wouldn't move to 45 because I'm too big.
Okay. Well, hey, it definitely looks like you're primed to do big things at 155. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing you in the cage again. And before we let you go, if you just want to shout out your Twitter, your Facebook, let the fans know how they can follow you, and shout out anyone or anyone you like, please feel free.
Yeah, my Facebook fan page is Abel Killer Trujillo, and my Twitter is Abel Trujillo 1. And I just like to give a shout out to the Black Zillions and Authentic Sports Management and MMA Mental for me.
That's awesome,
Beautiful.
Abel. Thank you very much, man. We really appreciate speaking. Can you hear us? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for giving us your time today. And we look forward to seeing your next fight in the UFC.
Thank you. God bless you, man. Appreciate it.